Hello my friends, welcome to this online class. I hope you are all keeping fine, though in this difficult situation where you are not able to go out freely, you are not able to meet your friends, you are not able to come to school and so on because of this COVID-19. And we need to take care of ourselves because life is more precious. So we cannot just take the risk of going out and mingling anywhere and everywhere with others. And so we need to quarantine ourselves, secure ourselves, and keep safe distance from others so that we will be safe as well as others also will be safe. So one person's mistake can cause so many others fall into sickness and give them trouble. So let us take care of ourselves, let us also help others to take care of themselves so that we will remain safe. And once this pandemic is over, we will be able to come together again and we will be able to have our normal classes, we will be able to meet together, study together, and we will be able to have our normal school life. So till then we have to go on with this online classes where we will be able to explain to a certain extent and try to make you understand, try to convince you about the ideas, about the points and so on. And on your part you also need to read your textbooks nicely several times, not just for one time, but you need to read several times and then try to understand the points, the ideas, and try to keep them in your mind. Should not forget, because anytime the situation can become normal and we'll have regular classes, so then you should be able to cope up with that. So should not just take it lightly, but try seriously, study nicely. Okay, now let us begin with our economic lessons. Economics, and the first lesson is dealing with development. I'm sure you all have got your own idea about what is development. When we hear the word development, certain ideas come into my mind, not for our mind. When I say when I mean development, I think that I have certain facilities, certain privileges, and so on. So, if you want to say our country is developed or our society is developed, then certain facilities should be there. Otherwise, we cannot just say my country is developed or my state is developed and so on. So, what are the things that are essential for human beings to live a normal life? All that is included when we say development. So, we need, what are the essential things that we need? We can say we need house to live, is not? House is a very essential thing. What else we need? We need food, no? We need water. Then we need land or we need field. We need roads. We need schools. We need hospitals. What else we need? We need schools, we need hospitals. What else? We need markets, we can say. We need markets. What else? I think most of these things are essential for life. If we have these things in our village or in our country where everyone is able to have access to all these things, then we can say our country is developed. So when these things are essential things are not there, we cannot say our country is developed. Therefore, these things are required. So when we say development, we expect all these things are there. So, but every person in the country may not have the same expectation. People who are living in the village, if you ask them what is development, they will have certain ideas. If you ask a person who is in the town, in the urban area, what is development, you will have different ideas. So every person does not have the same idea of development. They will have different idea depending on their surrounding, their environment. For example, if you ask a person in the village, what house do you need? He will not say, I need 5-story building and so on. He will say, I need a small house with 2-3 rooms, with a kitchen, and where my family can stay comfortably. That will be his idea. And if you ask a person who is in the town, what house you want? He will say, I need a big flat where all the facilities are there. There should be AC, there should be fan, there should be washing machine. So all kinds of things he will say. So the idea of house, a person who is living in the village and a person who is living in the urban area, they have different ideas. So if a person who is living in the urban area, if you give him a small house, he will not say this is development, this is underdevelopment, he will say. But for a person who is living in the village, a small house is enough. He says, oh very good, I am happy, he will say. So everyone has got different attitude or different idea about development. The same way, if you ask about land, a person who is living in the village, for him land is very important because he needs to work, he needs to produce grain, and he needs to have food for him. Throughout the year he has to cultivate and produce food. But for a person who is living in the town, in the flat, if you ask him, do you need land? He will say, I don't need land. What will I do with land? He will be working in the office and he will be coming back home. Again he will be going to office and so on. He has no time to do digging or cultivation and so on. So for him, land is not important. For a person who is living in the urban area, land is not important. But a person who is living in the village, land is very important. Without land, he cannot survive because his main work is in the land. The same way, roads. Person who is living in the town, he needs a good road. He will have a good vehicle. He can go faster. But in the village person, the road may be very ordinary. We call it kacha roads. A lot of potholes will be there. A lot of it will not be blacktop. A lot of slush will be there. During rainy season, will not be able to travel. You have to push the vehicle and so on. So the ordinary person may be able to manage with that. But in the town, if such kind of roads are there, then they will grumble and they will not be able to survive. So the development needs are different from place to place, from person to person and so on. So let us see what are the expectations of the people from different walks of life, from different areas. What are their expectations when we say about development? You can see in your textbook, page number 4. Different developmental, what development promises? Different people, different goals. So for different people, the development means different things. Let us see what are they. There's a chart is given, and in that chart different types of people are mentioned. So for them, when we say development, what do they mean? What do they understand by development? That is what we are going to see. For example, landless rural laborers. Landless means people who don't have their own land, they work in others' land. So what do you understand by landless rural laborers? If you go and ask them, what do you understand by development? Or what do you need by the word development? What do you need to say that I am developed? say, I need many days of work. I don't have land. I cannot work in my own land. I don't have land. Therefore, I go to others' land and work. Therefore, if they say tomorrow no need to come, there is no work, then I have no work, I have no money, and I have no money to buy food. So what I need is, I need many days of work so that I can get sufficient money to manage my family. Then he will say, there should be a school in my place for my children to study. I cannot send my children to the town. I am poor. So there should be school in my place so that my children can have a good education. Then there should not be any social discrimination. So very often it happens that there is a discrimination between poor and the rich. The rich people are given importance. The poor people are ignored. They are pushed to the side. So if you ask a small landless laborer, what do you want by development? He will say, I need equality. There should not be discrimination. I am poor, but does not mean that I am pushed to the side. I also should be given importance. Then we also should be able to become leaders in the village. So since we are poor, since we don't have our own land, we should not be pushed aside, but we also should be given chance to become a leader in the village. So that is what the expectation of a poor person in the village, a landless laborer, a daily worker, his expectation. What are they? First of all, he will say, I should have enough number of days to work. I should get many days of work. Then what else? He will say, there should be a school in my place for my children to study. And my children should get education. I cannot send them to faraway places. Then he will say, there should not be discrimination between the rich and the poor. Everyone should be treated equally. Everybody is human being. Whether a rich person or a poor person, there should not be a difference. There should not be discrimination. We should not show difference between the poor and the rich. They should be treated equally. And also, the poor people also should be given chance to become leaders in the village. When there is election to the panchayat, Sila Parishad, and so even if a person is very poor, he also should be given chance to become a leader. So these are the expectation of a poor person in the village. And if you go and ask a prosperous farmer in Punjab, so Punjab is very good for cultivation, and the people who are farming there, they are rich farmers. They have a very big area of farming. They have got modern facilities like tractor and other facilities. So they cultivate in a large area, and mostly the farmers are very rich. So if you go there and meet one rich farmer and ask him, what do you understand by development? What are the things that you need in order to say that you are developed? What will he say? He will say, I need a high family income through higher support prices for their crops. So he said, I am producing a lot of crops and I need good price for that. Very often I cultivate plenty, but nobody is there to buy. Nobody is there to buy. So I am getting very cheap rate. I have to sell it by cheap rate, and therefore I am losing. So I should get a good income by selling my products. That will be his desire. That is his plan. Then I need to get very hard-working people to come and work in my family or in my field. So there should be workers available for me. If workers are not available, I have to go far away and bring them and make them to work here. So laborers should be available in my surroundings, in my family or in my field. And the laborers should be cheap. So sometimes the laborers are asking very high price, daily wage, very high wage, 500, 600, 1000 and so on. So if I pay all these wage to the workers, then I become very poor. I don't have enough money. So I should get cheap laborers, people who are willing to work for less less wage. That will be his desire. Then they should be able to settle their children abroad. So another thing is that they say, I want to send my children abroad for study, to get job, and to even settle down there in abroad, in America, Australia, Europe, and so on. So when we ask for a poor farmer, what is his desire? He said, there should be one good school here for my children to study. But if you ask a rich farmer who has got enough money, he will say, I want to send my children abroad. He does not say there should be school in my place. He wants a high education for his children in the abroad, in the foreign countries. That will be his desire. That will be his plan about development. Then the third column you find it is vacant. So you have to think and find out what will be their plan, what will be their idea when we talk about development. For example, farmers who depend only on rain for growing crops. So if you go to some areas, dry places like Rajasthan, UP, Bihar and so on, it's a very dry area. So the farmers who are cultivating there, they are completely depending on the monsoon rains. Monsoon rain, if it is very late, then their crops will suffer. If it is too strong also, their crops will get spoiled. So these farmers who are completely depending on this monsoon rain, if you ask them what is development, what will they say? What will be their idea? Their first and foremost idea that they have in their mind will be, we need irrigation. We cannot completely depend on this monsoon rain. We cannot survive by depending on monsoon rain. So we expect government to provide irrigation facility. There should be water canal, should be there, dam should be built, and water should be channelized to the fields. That will be their plan. That will be their first and foremost plan. Then they will say our product should get enough price, we should get cheap labor and so on. So those things are there. But first and foremost they will be saying that we need water supply in order to cultivate properly throughout the year without completely depending on this monsoon rain. Then if you ask a rural woman from a land owning family, if you ask a woman living in the rural area, she has got her own land for cultivation, and if you ask her what is the meaning of development for you, what will she say? That column also is vacant, and so we have to think and find out what will be. You have to think from that woman's place. If you are that woman and somebody come and ask you, what do you understand by development, what will you say? We can certainly say she has got land, therefore she is rich, and so she may say, I need loan from the bank for cultivation. So though she is rich, though she has got land, still she will not be able to manage on her own. She will require some loan from the bank as a capital and so on. So that may be her one desire, that she should have enough help from the bank, from the government, to buy seeds, to buy the equipment, to buy the fertilizers and so on. Then she also may seek or desire that I should get good production so that I can sell it and get more money, and I can become rich. So that may be her plans. And if you ask a youth and unemployed youth from the urban area, if you ask him what do you understand by development, what will he say? He will say, I need a very good job. He is already educated but waiting for job. For him development means getting a good job, having financial security and so on. So I need a good job which has got very high salary. Then I want to settle down in my life and so on. So he will say that way. Then if you ask a boy from a rich family, what will he say? He will say, I want to be free, I want to be independent. He is from a rich family, therefore he is not worried about job and so on. There is enough money in his family, so he wants to enjoy his life. So he will say, I want to be free, I want to have enough money in my hand, I want to enjoy my life, I want to attend parties, all that he will say. So that will be his ideas. Then if you ask a girl from a rich urban family, what will she say? If you ask a girl from a rich urban family, what is development? What will she say? She will say, I need freedom as my brother is getting. So normally we see the families, boys are getting more freedom. They are roaming around more than the girls. The girls are made to sit at home and do the housework, cooking and so on. So if you ask a girl, she will say, I want to enjoy freedom as much as my brother is enjoying. And I want my brother to come and help me in doing houseworks and so on. That will be her expectation. And she wants to study abroad. Since she is from urban family, rich family, she has got a dream. I want to go outside. I want to go to foreign country and study. That is her desire. So that will, whether it will be possible or not, she has got that desire. So when all these desires are fulfilled, she will feel I am in a developed state, developed country, developed society and so on. Then if you ask an Adivasi from Narmada Valley, if you ask a person, an Adivasi person from Narmada Valley, what will that person say about development? You know about Narmada Valley? The government is trying to make dam there, and when the dam is built, water level will rise higher and higher, and all the surrounding areas will be under the water. So people are living there, the Adivasi people are living there near the Narmada river, and they will lose their houses, they will lose their cultivation area, their land, and they will lose the forest, everything, because water level will come higher and higher, and all the things, land will be under the water. So there's a lot of protest is going on from the people there, that government should not make big dam there, because it will affect their land, it will affect their house, it will affect their life and so on. So a lot of protest is there. So if you go and ask this person, what do you understand by development? What will this person say? He will say, I want to live freely here. I don't want to lose my property. I don't want to lose my house. I don't want to lose this forest in which we are depending. So that will be his expectation about this development. So we will see, if you ask different people, urban people, Adivasi people, village people, they will have different idea about development. All the people do not have development. So what may be development for one person may not be development for another person. For example, government is trying to build dam there in the Narmada river to bring development for the country. So if dam is built there will be development for some people. People who are going to use that water, people who are going to use electricity from there, they will be having development. But what about those people who are losing their land? The Adivasi people, they will lose their house, they will lose their life, they will lose their animals, they will lose their land, cultivation land, everything. So for them no development, for them it is a loss. So what is development for one person may not be development for another person. So that matters. So each one will be thinking from their own perspective, what is development, what is useful for me, what is going to bring improvement in my life. That is development for me, not distraction but improvement. Then only we can say it is development. So people who are already in the certain stage of life, they will be thinking about higher levels of development. But people who are in the lower levels of the society, they will be thinking about little more higher levels of development in their own society. So each person will have their own idea. So we cannot just say my idea of development is the same for all. No, everyone will have different ideas about development, and everyone will be thinking about what is more useful for me. I want to achieve that. If I achieve something better in my life, that is development for me. So every person will have different ideas about development. So today we shall wind up here, and the next class we will explain again about how people receive income and the goals that they have in their life and so on. So as I said, you need to work extra because we are not having regular interaction. We are not having the regular classes. We are only just giving you these videos. So you need to work hard. You need to read your textbooks properly several times to understand the ideas and so on. Then you will be able to cope up it. So try your level best and try hard and study well. Okay. So thank you for listening. Have a nice day.